The world's great novels. A novel without a hero. The NBC University of the Air brings you the first installment of a 4-part radio edition of William Makepeace Thackeray's great satire of English society, Vanity Fair. Another in its series of books that live, the world's great novels. A 100 years ago, people used to talk about the great English novel that might someday come. And many of those people thought their hopes had been realized in Thackeray's Vanity Fair. But who can tell you better about Vanity Fair and its Becky Sharp than her creator, Thackeray himself?
Yes, like all women, she wishes to occupy a place in Vanity Fair. Only Becky, a poor girl and an orphan, has all the work of winning her place in society to do for herself. If a person is too poor to keep a servant, he must sweep his own rooms. And who would be so unkind as to blame him for getting dirty in the process? So, on a fine morning in June in the year 1814, we find our Becky leaving the Select Female Academy of Miss Pinkerton, where for 2 years she, Becky, has earned her board, keep, and tuition by teaching French to the younger pupils. Is Becky going out into the world alone? Oh, gentle listener, you underestimate her talents. Already, by using her wits, she has wangled an invitation from dear Amelia Sedley to visit with her in London for an indefinite period. This very minute, the Sedley coach is bearing the 2 young ladies away from Miss Pinkerton's school toward London at the astonishing speed of 4 miles an hour.
Let's talk about London. I suppose you have loads of friends there. Gentlemen friends.
Well, there's George.
George?
George Osborne, captain in the 9th Regiment. Becky, don't breathe a word of this, but... Well, there's an understanding between my family and George's.
You're engaged. Oh, Amelia, how I envy you. Rich parents, a wealthy fiancé, and poor little me. I have no one to lean on.
You have me, Becky.
Oh, yes, of course. But a woman is such a frail reed. One needs a man for support. You're an only child, are you not, Amelia?
Why, no. I told you about Joseph. Don't you remember?
Joseph? Oh, I dare say you did, but I'd forgot. He has a post in India.
He's the collector at Bogliwalla. But he's at home now on leave. A liver complaint. I'm sure I told you.
Did you? I suppose your sister-in-law is a nice sort of person.
Oh, la, Joseph's not married.
Not married? Oh, why ever not?
Oh, as a matter of fact, Becky, Joseph's terribly shy of women. You see, well, he's rather stout. In fact, I'm afraid he's fat.
Fat? But who would be so unkind as to hold a man's shape against him? I believe in looking beneath the outward appearance into the soul. In short, my dear Amelia, I believe in love.
Oh, but of course, Becky.
Your brother, Amelia, I suppose he's enormously rich?
Come, Becky, come into the drawing room. Don't be shy.
Oh, Amelia, if you only knew how my heart was beating.
Oh, Joseph won't hurt you. You'll see. Don't hang back. Joseph, I'd like to present to you my friend, Miss Sharp. I'm sure you've heard me speak of her.
No, never, upon my word.
Oh, Joseph.
That is... Yes, of course. What abominably cold weather, Miss Sharp. You don't mind if I poke up the fire?
Indeed, no. Oh, Amelia, why didn't you tell me your brother was so handsome?
Do you really think so?
So distinguished. Mr. Joseph, I hear you've been in India. I should so love to see India.
Oh, now would you indeed, miss? Upon my word, this is a coincidence. I've just come from India. You want to go to India?
Oh, I adore all things Indian. I truly do. Rogers and curry and elephant.
Elephant? Oh, so you like elephants? Puts me in mind of a story, Miss Sharp. 'Twas out at Bogliwalla.
Bogliwalla? Oh, it's a fascinating name.
Well, as I was saying, it was out at Bogliwalla, and Sir Huddleston Fuddleston, old Mulligatawny, we always called him.
Now, did you really?
On my word, we did, Miss Sharp.
But do go on, Mr. Joseph.
Well, old Mulligatawny, Sir Huddleston Fuddleston, you know, was entertaining some visiting notables. Decided to take them on a tiger hunt. Quite the thing, you know, tiger hunt.
Oh, Mr. Joseph, I can't bear it. Don't tell me you went on a tiger hunt.
Oh, pooh, Miss Sharp, don't be frightened.
For your mother's sake, Mr. Joseph, for the sake of all your friends, I entreat you, never go on a tiger hunt again.
Well, now, my dear Miss Sharp, if it means so much to you...
Oh, it does. It does?
Upon my word, then, I promise no more tiger hunts. I say, Amelia, but you brought us a charming young lady. I repeat, a most charming young lady. Upon my word, but she is.
Oh, Mr. Joseph.
Now, back to the tiger hunt. As I was saying, Miss Sharp, Sir Huddleston Fuddleston, old Mulligatawny, we called him, you know.
Yes, I know.
I say, Amelia, look at little Joseph there with Miss Sharp. I never saw him so eloquent.
Oh, poor dear. I'm afraid he's telling her the story of the tiger hunt again. It's the third night in a row.
I didn't know old Joseph was a tiger hunter.
He's never been on one in his life. But don't tell Becky.
I shouldn't think Miss Sharp was the sort of girl that had to be told anything. I say, Amelia, what do you know about her?
She was my dearest friend at school, and she's all alone in the world, George.
She won't be long, if I'm a judge.
What do you mean?
Looks like she's got her hooks in old Joseph.
George, don't be vulgar. Why, Becky would never dream of...
Oh, my dear, sweet, innocent Amelia. Don't you know that if a girl has no mamma to do it for her, she must go husband hunting for herself?
George!
And I give it to you as absolute fact that any woman, provided she hasn't a hump, may marry whomever she likes. Thank heaven you dear creatures don't know your own powers.
George, I don't like the way you're talking at all. Come, let's go and join Joseph and Becky.
As you wish. But mark my word, Amelia, I'm going to give Joseph a tip tomorrow about what he's letting himself in for.
George, you must.
Oh, hang it, Amelia. She'll be bringing an action against him the first thing he knows. I'm a liberal man, but I do want a lady for my sister-in-law.
Sugar, Becky? Yes, and cream, too, please, dear Amelia.
Oh, such a dull afternoon.
I wonder what's keeping Joseph. He's usually on time for his tea.
Oh, dear Joseph. Eating is his only diversion.
I've half a mind to embroider him a pair of braces. He's been so kind to me. Oh, it's probably Joseph now. Don't mention the braces. They're to be a surprise.
I promise.
Come in.
A letter from Miss Sharp, Miss Amelia. Here it is, Miss.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Very good, ma'am.
Oh, Becky, it's from Joseph. I know his seal. Do open it.
My hand trembles so I can kiss. Oh, Amelia, to think your wonderful brother, an Indian nabob, would write to me.
Becky, open it.
I'll always keep this as my most cherished, but... Amelia.
Becky, what is it?
He's gone.
Gone?
To Scotland. For an indefinite stay, he says here.
Oh, Oh, Becky, I was sure that you...
You thought I might be silly enough to care for Joseph Sedley? How could you?
Oh, dearest Becky, I do trust that you feel no ill will toward me.
Of course not, Amelia. But I do feel that I've imposed upon the Sedley hospitality long enough.
Oh, never.
I have my own way to make in the world.
But what will you do? Where will you go?
I'm not without talent, dear Amelia. Before I left Miss Pinkerton's, I made her write me a recommendation for a post as a governess.
Oh, but you must stay with us until you get a post.
I have one, my dear.
You have a position?
I've had one for days. I was just waiting. I only wish to rest for a little while before taking up my burden again.
Poor Becky.
At least I shall be with the really genteel people. The Sopit Crawlers, you know.
Really? A baronet?
It will be wonderful to be with really genteel people. None of your vulgar nouveau riche. Oh, forgive me, Amelia. I forgot your father had to work for his money.
Don't apologize, Becky. I'm proud of my father. Becky, let us part friends. I do honestly hate to see you go.
But I must go. I must think of my future. And there is certainly no future for me here.
Now, gentle listener, among the most respected names contained in the Court Guide in the year 1814 was that of Crawley, Sir Pitt, Baronet, Great Gaunt Street, and Queen's Crawley. Sir Pitt Crawley was the son of Walpole Crawley, first baronet of the tape and sealing wax office. The family tree furthermore mentions Charles Stuart Crawley, sometimes called Barebones Crawley. And close by the name of Sir Pitt Crawley, baronet, subject of the present memoir, is written that of his brother, the Reverend Bute Crawley, rector of Crawley cum Snailby. Oh, mark well the name of Crawley, for it is to this genteel family that our Becky has succeeded in engaging herself, as governess. The Sedley carriage has just deposited her bag and baggage at the door of Sir Pitt's Gaunt Street residence. On the morrow, she will drive with Sir Pitt to his country-seated Queen's Crawley, and there undertake the education of his daughter. But now she waits for the door to open, and for her humble self to be admitted to his august presence.
Is this Sir Pitt Crawley? I'm Miss Becky Sharp.
Yes?
Well, just stand there. These are my bags. Hand them in, old man.
And them in, you said.
How dare you? Pick up my bags at once.
What'll you give me?
I'll give you nothing. Just wait till Sir Pitt hears of this.
Sir Pitt.
Pick them up, do you hear me? This minute.
I'll do it for a pint of air.
I'd as soon give you my eyeballs.
Then the bag stays where they're at.
Very well. A pint of beer, then. But I warn you, I intend to tell Sir Pitt everything. Pick them up.
Oh. Emmy, must have cleaned out your lost mistress's closets.
Hold your tongue. That's no way to talk to a lady.
Lady. Come along, Lady Becky.
Where are you taking me?
To the kitchen where he belongs.
Set my bags down at once. I'll be made a fool of no longer. I demand to see Sir Pitt. Where is Sir Pitt?
You're looking at him.
What? What are you saying?
That I'm Sir Pitt Crawley. And what's more, Lady Becky, you owe me a pint of beer.
Thus, gentle listener, Sir Pitt Crawley. A dirtier, more disreputable, ignorant, miserly old man is not to be found in the whole peerage of England. And yet he is a dignitary of the land, a pillar of state, He rides in a golden coach. Ministers and statesmen court him. But remember, this is Vanity Fair. And because it is Vanity Fair, our Becky, after her first shock is over, appears not to notice a single blemish on Sir Pitt's character.
Who is it? What do you want?
It's Sir Pitt, Lady Becky.
Oh, just a minute, Sir Pitt. What is it, Sir Pitt?
You was burning a candle, ain't you?
What? Why, yes.
No candles after 9 o'clock.
But...
Candles cost money. Go to bed in the dark, you pretty young nosy.
He pitched me. Dear Amelia, I do believe Sir Pitt has taken a fancy to me. And of course I shall do all I can to ingratiate myself with my benefactor. His wife, his second, by the way, is an invalid, you know. Poor soul, who knows when... But why look into the future? Sir Pitt's oldest son, also called Pitt, lives here with his father and stepmother. He is unmarried and a very scholarly sort of person, always shut up in the library. Oh, I beg your pardon, Mr. Crawley. I didn't know anyone was using the library.
Not at all. Not at all. Come in, Miss Sharp.
I was just returning a little pamphlet I've been reading. It's called An Address to the Bethesda Society in Behalf of the Mission to the Chickasaw Indians. It's really fascinating, sir.
Did you really find it so, Miss Sharp? Then I'm touched beyond words. That little pamphlet is one of my own writings.
Oh, Mr. Crawley, I never dreamed.
Yes, Miss Sharp. I've another here on the beneficial qualities to be derived from malt. Perhaps...
Oh, I should dearly love to read about malt.
Very well, my dear. Take it along with you. I must say that you're the only member of this household who's ever been moved by my writings.
Well, I suppose I inherit my taste for finer things from my mother. She was French, you know. A Montmorency.
A Montmorency? You don't say. Oh, there's quite a history of that noble family right here in the library.
Yes, sir. I was looking into it only last night.
Blood is everything, I always say. Really, Miss Sharp, we must know each other better.
Mr. Crawley, you won't think me presumptuous if I tell you how honored I feel to be here at Queen's Crawley, among such genteel people. Lucky you, to spring from such a noble lineage, to inherit such a fine old title. You will, of course, inherit the title.
Yes, the title goes to me. Though, of course, my father may live for years. Such a hale old man.
Very hale.
All of the Crawleys are a long-lived people. My father's sister, Matilda...
Yes.
75, if she's a day. And the life she lives would have killed any normal person years ago.
Mr. Crawley, you don't mean...
Champagne, Miss Sharp, and brandy.
No.
She reads Voltaire, too.
No.
And Rousseau.
No.
And to think that any day she may meet her maker.
Oh, I tremble for her.
And to crown all her folly, Miss Sharp, she declared she'll leave her entire fortune to my cockfighting, gambling, carousing young brother.
Your brother? You have a brother?
Captain Rawdon Crawley of the Life Guards Green. A very, dubious character, Miss Sharp.
And it is to this, dubious character that Miss Crawley is leaving her money. How interesting. I suppose Captain Crawley visits his father occasionally.
Never darkens the door of Queen's Crawley until my Aunt Matilda pays her annual visit.
Will she be coming here soon?
Within a fortnight, I'm afraid. We're due for a visit from both of them.
Really? You don't say. Well, I must be running along now, Mr. Crawley. It's been a most interesting morning. Most interesting.
Happy to serve you at any time, Miss Sharp.
Good day to you, Mr. Crawley.
Good day, Miss Sharp. One moment. You're forgetting my pamphlet on malt. Oh, well, she didn't hear me. Another time.
If you have not observed already, gentle listener, that our Becky is a very wise young woman, then I've told my story in vain. But now our Becky is confronted with a problem of strategy that would have confounded a Wellington. Before her lie an amorous old baronet with an ailing wife, a stodgy older son who will one day inherit his father's title, and a penniless bounder of a younger son who stands to come into his Aunt Matilda's entire fortune. Where shall she attack? Let us hasten to find out. The scene is the great ballroom at Queen's Crawley, several days after the arrival of Miss Matilda Crawley and Captain Rawdon Crawley of the Life Guards Green.
I say, Brother Pitt, that Miss Sharp is a neat little filly. No wonder you fancy stopping down here in the country.
I should come away from that punch bowl if I were you, Rawdon.
The best country dancer in the whole room, Miss Sharp, and my name's not Rawdon Crawley.
That's your 7th glass of champagne since I've been standing here.
Yes, Miss Sharp sent me to cool off. I think I'll go find her again.
I should advise you to stay away from her, in your condition.
Miss Sharp don't mind. She's a match for me. Miss Sharp's a match for anyone. Look how she's got around Aunt Tilda already.
Sit here beside me, Miss Sharp, and rest.
I'd love to, Miss Crawley.
You know, if Brother Pitt doesn't watch out, I'll steal you from under his nose. Take you home with me as a companion.
I suppose you live a very gay life in London, then?
Oh, when one's 75, there's not much left but eating and drinking. I manage to do a great deal of both.
And, of course, your nephew, Captain Crawley, he comes often to visit you.
Every day that he's in town. Ah, what I'd do without that scamp.
I suppose he has a very promising future.
He's bound to succeed. He's so delightfully wicked. Rawdon would go to the deuce for a woman. There must be good in a man who would do that.
That was the beautiful part of Lord Nelson's character.
Here comes Rawdon now, that sweet rascal. Go away, Rawdon. I want Miss Sharp to myself.
I can't say I blame you, Aunt Tilda.
I'm thinking of taking her back to London with me. Old Briggs is beginning to bore me.
Oh, that's a capital idea, Auntie.
I'll double what Brother Pitt is paying you, Miss Sharp.
Oh, Miss Crawley.
So you'll come, my pretty.
By Jove, you must come, Miss Sharp.
Ah, but let me warn you against my nephew, Miss Sharp. There was that parlor maid.
Now, Auntie.
Surely Miss Crawley doesn't suppose I can't defend my honor.
I'm not saying you can't.
Oh, I say, Auntie, let it go, will you? Or Miss Sharp will never come to you.
But I'd come in a minute, only I do hate to leave Sir Pitt, especially with Lady Crawley so poorly.
Oh, hang Lady Crawley.
But still, I must think of my future. If I don't, who will?
So, gentle listener, when the carriage of Miss Matilda Crawley rolls away from Queen's Crawley toward London, who should sit beside Miss Crawley, nursing a fat spaniel, but, our own Becky Sharp. And who should ride along beside the carriage, mounted on his black charger, but, Captain Rawdon Crawley of the Life Guards Green. Now, a month later, let us look in on the snug little house of Miss Matilda Crawley in Park Lane, London. It's nearly morning, and Becky is fetching up Miss Crawley's breakfast.
Good morning, Miss Crawley.
Morning, Becky.
I've brought your chocolate, your mail, and the morning papers.
Any new scandals in the Tatler?
Here's a nice tidbit, ma'am. Ensign Shafton has run away with Lady Barbara Fitford.
Splendid. I adore imprudent matches.
Do you really, ma'am?
Except in my own family.
Oh.
I'll have my chocolate now. Give me my mail.
Here you are, ma'am.
What's this? A letter from Queen's Crawley. I suppose Brother Pitt is still pawing the earth because I stole you from him. Becky, what do you think?
What is it, ma'am?
Lady Crawley is dead.
Oh, no, ma'am. She can't be. Who would have guessed she would die so soon?
It's a wonder to me that she stood Pitt's abuse as long as she did. Poor, spineless creature. She didn't even have the character to take to drink.
When did she die?
Yesterday. What a nuisance. Now I suppose I shall have to put off my party. Well, miss, why are you sniffling? You paid Lady Crawley no more attention while you were there than if she'd been a weed in the park.
And I have a very tender heart.
Well, go over to the window now till you're done crying. I can't bear to hear you.
Oh, Miss Crawley, look out the window.
What is it?
It's Sir Pitt's curtain 4.
Well, I refuse to see him. I won't see him. My nerves won't stand it. Go down this minute, Becky, and tell him that I'm too ill to receive anyone.
Yes, ma'am.
And before you go, hand me the Tatler.
I'm sorry, Sir Pitt, but Miss Crawley is too ill to receive anyone.
So much the better. I want to see you, Miss Becky.
Me, sir?
I want you back at Queen's Crawley.
Oh, but Sir
I
Pitt...
just got news that my wife is dead. I'm going back to the funeral. Will you come?
Sir Pitt,
I say again, I want you. I can't get on without you. You must come. Say you'll come, little Becky.
Come as what, sir?
Come as Lady Crawley, if you like. There. That ought to satisfy you.
Oh, Sir Pitt... Sir Pitt...
Come back and be my wife, Becky. You're fit for it. Birth be hanged, you're as good a lady as I ever see. Yes or no?
Sir Pitt, I can't.
I'll get on my knees to you, Becky. Oh. On my knees I ask you to say yes, Becky. I'm an old man, but I'm a good one. Good for 20 years. I'll make you a settlement. Do everything regular. Only say you'll come.
Oh, Sir Pitt, I can't. I can't.
Why can't you, Becky?
Because... Oh, who would have thought Lady Crawley would die so conveniently? Don't you see? I'm married already.
Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray is one of the world's great novels, brought to you each week by the NBC University of the Air. Listen next week to the second episode from Vanity Fair, and remember that this and countless other fine books are to be had in your local public library. To enhance your enjoyment of these broadcasts, NBC offers you Herbert Gorman's Handbook of the World's Great Novels. Just send 25 cents with your request to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. Vanity Fair is adapted for radio by Frank and Virginia Wells. The music was composed by Morris Momorsky and the orchestra directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Becky Sharp is played by Nanette Sargent, Amelia by Geraldine Kay, Aunt Matilda by Virginia Payne, Thackeray by Sherman Marks, Rawdon by Boris Applin, George by Sidney Breese, Sir Pitt by Charles Eggleston, Young Pitt by Don Gallagher, and Joseph by Arthur Peterson. The program came to you from Chicago. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Ah, gentle listener, I'm afraid you've guessed it. The first blushing days of George and Amelia's honeymoon are over. George is beginning to feel a bit restive. What a fortunate thing for him that the honeymooners should be joined by their friends, the Crawleys. What a fortunate thing, too, for Mr. Crawley, whose marriage also is beginning to show a little, wear. Nothing could be more natural than that the two young couples should be always together. Nothing more natural than that Becky...
Oh, I'm afraid I've dropped my handkerchief. Oh, no, George, don't bother. I'll pick it up. Oh, thank you, George. You're so talent. Do let me light your cigar for you, George. I always like Ron. There. Isn't that comfy? George, I've thought of a new name for you. You're so handsome. I'm going to call you Cupid. Isn't that moon delicious tonight, George? Come look at the sea from our terrace. Amelia won't mind. Will you, Amelia?
I say, Becky, it's rather delicate, but when the Osbornes come over tonight, I wish you'd pay a little more attention to Amelia.
Why, Ron, have I been neglecting Amelia?
It seemed to me she's been looking a little jealous lately.
Are you sure it's Amelia who's jealous, Ron?
Jealous? I? Of course not. I'm a man of the world, Becky, but by Jove...
How could you accuse me? You know it's only for your benefit that I've been cultivating, George. Why, we've practically paid our expenses at Brighton with what you won from him at billiards.
Oh, I say, Becky, I am sorry. I didn't understand. I say, but you're a clever one. I clean him out and you make him like it.
Not another word. Here they are.
I'll go to the door, Becky. Come in, Amelia. George.
How do you do, Crawley?
Good evening, Captain Crawley.
Oh, so you've come at last, George. And my dearest Amelia. How simply ravishing you look, Amelia.
Oh, thank you.
And what a killing bow. Oh, what a pity you chose green. Makes you look so pale.
Oh, do you think so?
Come over by the fire. The backgammon table's all set up. Rawdon's been aching for a game with you, Amelia. Haven't you, Rawdon?
Why, yes, I have.
George, I thought perhaps you wouldn't mind sitting and chatting with poor little me. I've been shopping for ribbons all day, and I'm simply fagged off. But now who can that be?
I'll go and see. Why, Major Dobbin.
Crawley. Is Osborne here?
Yes, they just got here. Come in, Major.
Why, it's old Dobbin.
Major Dobbin, do come in.
What the deuce are you doing in Brighton?
I only just arrived, and I must leave at once.
You're leaving?
And so must you, George. And you, Crawley.
Leave Brighton?
The regiment's been ordered up. Guards, everybody.
What's wrong? What's happened?
Old Boney's escaped from Elba. We're going out to hunt him down.
Alas, dear listener, but 'tis true. While George and Becky have been carrying on a beautiful flirtation at Brighton, and dear Amelia has been weeping into a handkerchief, the Corsican has landed at Cannes. This very instant, Louis XVIII is fleeing before Boney's eagles. And at Vienna, the crowned heads of Europe, who've been carving up the continent and squabbling among themselves over the peace table, are once more reunited to fight their common enemy. Oh, if only Napoleon had waited a few months. These august monarchs might have been at each other's throats again, and he might have reconquered Europe. But then, what would have become of our story? Indeed, what has become of it? It's now early summer, and we find the gallant 9th Regiment, with their wives and sweethearts, quartered at Brussels, the gayest capital in Europe. Becky is there, to be sure, rustling with satin and jingling with ornaments, and Amelia, and her fat brother, Joseph. Indeed, never since the days of Darius has there been such a brilliant train of camp followers as hangs about the Duke of Wellington's army in the Low Countries to lead it feasting and dancing to the very brink of battle.
Oh, what a delightful ball, Rawdon. Everybody that everyone knows, and only a very few nobodies in the whole room. Oh, think of being entertained by a duchess.
Becky, there's George Osborne.
Oh, hello, George.
Oh, don't forget you promised me the quadrille, Becky.
Oh, never. What have you done with Amelia, George?
Oh, she's over there with some ladies.
But I'll go and speak to her. Poor child. I suppose no one has asked her to dance. Amelia, dearest.
How are you, Becky?
Oh, how sweet you look. Like a little schoolgirl. My dear, I really must introduce you to my hairdresser. Didn't you know braids went out of style weeks ago?
I've always worn my hair in braids, Becky.
Yes, I know. Amelia, why don't we ever see anything of you anymore? George comes to us every evening. He says you've been moping at home with Joseph and Major Dobbin. Dreadful man, so grim. How can you bear him? George is such a
Did I hear someone mention my name?
Oh, there you are, George. You wretch. Here's Amelia crying her eyes out for you. Have you come to fetch me for the quadrille? Oh, splendid.
Oh, there you are, Amelia.
Oh,
I've been looking all over for you.
good evening, Major Dobbin.
How lovely you look. I'm not good at compliments, but you're like some wild rose among all these hothouse plants.
Oh, thank you.
Would you care to dance this quadrille? I'm not a very good partner, but...
No. No, thank you, Major.
Amelia, what is it?
Oh, William, you've always been good to me. Take me home. Take me home.
Oh, George, this is such fun. I could dance with you all evening.
Becky, did you read my note?
Your note?
I slipped it into your bouquet earlier in the evening.
What was in the note, George?
Becky, you must know. We can't go on like this. You must come away with me tonight.
Witless man, you put that in writing?
Oh, Becky, don't mock me. You knew where this was bound to end. You're like champagne. I'm drunk with you. Come away with me, Becky.
But what about poor little Amelia and Rawdon?
Oh, they don't matter. Nothing matters but us. Say you'll come, Becky.
Here comes Rawdon. I'll let you know later.
Tonight? It must be tonight.
But, George, what's that?
I heard nothing.
Oh, listen.
It sounds like thunder. No, by gad, it's cannon.
Oh, George, what is it? Rawdon, what happened?
Word just came in that... Wait, General Tucker is going to speak.
Will the company please come to order? Word has just come that Napoleon has passed the Somme. Wellington's flank is already engaged. The 9th Regiment marches at daybreak to reinforce him.
Well, gentle listener, if this is a novel without a hero, at least let us lay claim to a heroine. The British army is ready to march, and no man in it, not even the Duke of Wellington himself, is more cool and collected than the indomitable little aide-de-camp's wife, our own Becky.
What a nuisance. Old Boney breaking up our ball.
There'll be a ball danced in a day or two that you never heard the tune of. Becky, I've got to leave you now.
But you've put on your shabbiest uniform. Surely you're not going to battle in that.
Becky, listen to me. This is no dress parade. This is war. I may not come back.
Oh, Rawdon, don't be so mean. You're trying to make me cry. I look a fright already. Not a wink of sleep, and still in my ball gown. Oh, this pink makes me look pale, doesn't it?
Becky, dearest, please come away from that mirror. You must listen to me. I may be killed.
Dearest love, do you suppose I fear nothing?
I may drop, Becky. And if I do, I want you to know you're not absolutely penniless. Here's 200 pounds.
You were hiding it from me. You wretch.
I won it at cards.
Is this all of it?
Well, there are few things you can turn into money. My dressing case, I paid 200 for it. Rather, I owe 200. And my double-barrel Manton, and my driving cloak, and my dueling pistols. Oh, yes, and the horses. I'm leaving you both of them.
Then I should get a good price for the horses. Everyone will want to be leaving Brussels now.
Tain't much I'm leaving you, Becky. But it's all I've got. Now, Give me one last sweet kiss.
Oh, wait, Rawdon. My bouquet from the ball. I put it in water. I want you to remember me with it in my arms.
Oh, sweet Becky.
Here. How do you like me?
Wait. What's this?
Oh, it's just a note. Oh, I forgot all about the note.
Becky, I may be killed. Swear to me. You do love me.
But of course, Rawdon.
Goodbye, my sweet wife.
Goodbye, Rawdon. Oh, now, let me see. First, I must go to Rawdon's desk and see if he has any money he didn't tell me about. Oh, what's this?
Becky.
Oh, Rawdon.
I left my sword. Becky, what are you doing? I hoped I might find you in tears.
I've been putting your desk in order, and look, I found a draft on George Osborne's banker for £20.
Yes, a gambling debt he owes me.
I'll put it through today.
No, Becky, you mustn't. George is in bad straits. I don't know what will become of Amelia if...
What do you mean? George is rich.
He's in the same boat I am. He's being disinherited. Dobbin told me last night.
Well, of all the... And to think of all the time I wasted on him. But the nerve of him. To think I
Becky,
might...
I'm in a tearing hurry. Promise me you won't put the draft through.
No, Rawdon. I won't promise. I've got to think of my future. Just suppose I should be left a widow.
If I were you, I wouldn't count on it, Becky. Not too much. I may live to vex you yet.
Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray is one of the world's great novels, brought to you each week by the NBC University of the Air. Listen next week to the third episode from Vanity Fair, and remember that this and countless other fine books are to be had in your local public library. To enhance your enjoyment of these programs, NBC offers you Herbert Gorman's Handbook of the World's Great Novels. Just send 25 cents with your request to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. Vanity Fair is adapted for radio by Frank and Virginia Wells. The music was composed by Morris Pomorsky and the orchestra directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production under the direction of Homer Heck. Becky Sharp is played by Nanette Sargent, Amelia by Geraldine Kay, Aunt Matilda by Virginia Payne, Rawdon by Boris Applin, Old Osborne by John Barclay, George by Sidney Breeze, Dobbin by Everett Clark, Sir Pitt by Charles Eggleston, and Thackeray by Sherman Marks. Others were Donald Gallagher and Cliff Norton. This is David Garraway speaking. The program came to you from Chicago. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company. The world's great novels. Sometimes virtue starves while vice is fed. How then is the reward of virtue bred? The NBC University of the Air brings you the third installment of William Thackeray's penetrating novel of early 19th century British society, Vanity Fair, another of his new series of books that live, the world's great novels. Last week at this hour, we were witness to the scenes in Brussels when Napoleon's armies were steadily advancing and the city was crowded with fashionable spectators from London, some of whom had come to occupy box seats at the unfolding drama of which Waterloo was to be the climax. There we took leave of Becky Sharp, sitting in her room and figuring just what her status in the world of Vanity Fair would be if her husband, Rawdon Crawley, should fail to return from that battle. The author himself appears now to continue the career of our clever little adventuress.
We do not claim to rank among the military novelists. Our place is with the non-combatants. When the decks are cleared for action, dear listener, we go below and meekly wait. Therefore, we shall leave Captain Rawdon Crawley to do his duty and come back to his wife. It is the next day. Napoleon's army hammers the road to Brussels, while, pink and smiling, our Becky hastens to visit her friend, Amelia Sedley. Amelia is indisposed, but her brother Joseph Sedley is not.
Do come in, Mrs. Crawley, and sit you down.
Oh, Mr. Joseph, how relieved I am to find you here. Heaven has left you, I'm sure, to protect us poor ladies.
Upon my word, madam, perhaps it has.
But what is this? You're wearing your military coat. Oh, Mr. Joseph.
My patriotism overcame me, madam. I brought the coat out to do honor to our gallant troops.
Oh, Mr. Joseph, I entreat you not to fly from us.
Alas, madam, my duty keeps me here. I cannot leave that poor creature in the next room.
Good, noble brother. How is our dear Amelia? The parting with Captain Osborne must have been an awful, awful blow.
Tremendous.
I bleed for her.
Joseph?
Oh.
Joseph, who is with you?
She's awakened. The doctor gave her a sleeping powder.
Joseph, who are you talking? Oh, it's you.
My dear, dear Amelia.
Why are you here, Rebecca?
I came to see if you were well, dear Amelia.
You look well, Becky. But of course, you would. You don't love your husband.
Amelia! The poor girl must be out of her head.
No, Becky, I'm quite sane. I see everything very clearly now. Tell me, Becky, did I ever do you anything but kindness?
No, Amelia, no.
When you were poor, who befriended you?
You, Amelia.
Then why did you try to come between George and me? You knew his love was all I had.
Amelia, before heaven I protest, I have done you no wrong.
But you tried. It was only because George is noble and pure.
Amelia, dearest, you're unwell.
I prayed so hard that he would come back to me.
I entreat you, Amelia.
And he came back. Before he left, he sat there on that sofa. No, don't you touch it. His arms were around my neck. Then they came for him and took him away. But he promised to come back. To me, Rebecca. Not to you.
I can stand no more of this. I must leave you, Amelia, until you've recovered all this.
Go, Becky. I never want to see you again. Oh, George's sash. Isn't it a pretty color?
What is it?
Is Joseph Sedley, ma'am?
Oh, just a moment. Pray, what is it, Mr. Joseph?
The French, ma'am. They've cut the 9th Regiment in two. They'll be in Brussels next. We must fly.
Why should I fly? I've heard the French are very gallant. Why would they harm a poor officer's widow?
Widow, ma'am?
I mean wife.
Madam, the French are beasts, I tell you. We must fly.
And how do you plan to fly, Mr. Joseph? I've heard that there are no horses to be had in Brussels. Everyone wants horses.
Oh, indeed, it's true.
Well, then how?
Mrs. Crawley, madam, I've been told that you have horses.
You mean dear Captain Crawley's horses?
I thought you might be willing to sell.
Sell my husband's horses? Perish the thought, Mr. Sedley. I would as soon think of selling myself.
I give you £50 for the grey mare.
Never, Mr. Joseph, never. Those horses are all I have to remind me of Captain Crawley. Besides, I will sell both or neither.
But I only need one, madam.
Both or neither, Mr. Sedley.
Have you no heart, madam?
Both or neither.
Then let it be both. I'll give you £100 for the pair.
Lady Baracres has already offered me 200.
Then 250.
Captain Crawley himself told me not to take less than 3.
Then 3 it is.
Oh, no. I have no intention of letting them go for less than 4.
400 pounds? Why, it's highway robbery.
400 pounds, Mr. Joseph. They're the only horses left in Brussels.
Then 400 it is.
In advance.
Yes. Here you are, madam.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph.
Where are the horses?
In the stable.
Good.
You know, of course, they're not carriage horses.
Not... But how...
You'll have to ride the grey mare and lead the other.
Oh, but is she gentle?
As gentle as a lamb and as fast as a hare.
Do you think she's up to my weight?
Well, she's not an elephant, Mr. Joseph, but I think she'll hold you up.
Oh, cannon, madam, cannon! The French are on top of us. I must fly.
What a gallant retreat you will make from Brussels, Mr. Sedley. What a gallant retreat.
Thank you.
And what a nice little nest egg I shall have if Rawdon drops.
Amelia! Amelia!
Yes, Joseph?
I've got horses for us. Don't ask me what price. That woman, that vampire. Oh, we must get ready to fly.
I'm not going with you, Joseph.
Not going? You're mad.
I told George I would wait for him here.
But Brussels may fall at any moment. You'll be butchered by the French.
Nevertheless, here I shall stay.
One last time, I entreat you.
No, Joseph.
That I am forced to leave you behind.
Goodbye, Joseph.
Goodbye, dear sister. May heaven preserve you. I beg your pardon, Mrs. Osborne. Out of my way, John. The French are coming. I must fly.
What did you wish, John?
They're beginning to bring the wounded back from the front, ma'am.
Oh, yes, I know. All morning I've watched the long trains of wagons.
There's a young man outside, ma'am. Shot in the leg he was. He wants to know if you would take him in.
Why, of course.
He says all the hotels and lodgings are full of dead and dying.
Show him in at once, John.
Yes, ma'am. You can come in, sir.
Thank you. I hate to trouble you, ma'am.
Oh, you poor boy. Your leg, it's bleeding.
I'm lucky to be here at all, ma'am.
Oh, lie there on the couch. John will make up a bed for you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, this fighting. It's terrible, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. But we'll have old Boney on the run yet. The Duke's remarshalling his forces for a counterattack. Near Waterloo, it is.
I never heard of the place.
You will, ma'am. You will.
What was your regiment, soldier?
The 9th, ma'am.
You wouldn't know. Oh, no, that's silly to ask.
Now, I might just happen to know someone you know, ma'am.
The name's Osborne. George Osborne.
Osborne? Why, ma'am, he was my captain.
Oh, soldier, God sent you to me, I know he has, to bring me news of George. When did you see him last?
This morning, ma'am.
How was he, soldier?
Before God, ma'am, I wish I'd never come here.
Soldier, what is it?
Why should I have to be the one to tell you?
To tell me, soldier?
That I left Captain Osborne lying with the bull.
No, don't say it. Let me believe for just a little longer that George will come back to me.
Every schoolboy knows the story of how the tide turned for the English that day. And now, gentle listener, with a novelist's license, let us project ourselves forward in time to a day 3 years after that great battle, to a day in May, all innocent with the English spring. A tall, thin man in a major's uniform stands on the steps of a London cathedral. Inside, a memorial service has just been concluded. A stooped old man comes out of the church, and the major advances to speak to him.
Mr. Osborne?
Major Dobbin. Been many a day since I set eyes on you.
I read in the paper about the memorial service for George, but I got here too late.
Too bad. It was all done in the best fashion.
Cost me a pretty penny, that stained glass window. Even the Duke's son ain't got a finer one.
No doubt.
It's sweet to die for your native land. That's what I had put under the window. Pretty saying, ain't it?
Very pretty, sir. Especially if it's someone else who's done the dying.
Huh? What's that you saying?
Forget it, sir. I came here today, Mr. Osborne, as George's oldest friend. I thought perhaps this sad occasion might have softened your heart toward his widow.
Don't speak her name to me, Dobbin. I warn you. For me, she don't exist.
For George's sake, sir.
George or no George. It was a beggar marriage and never should have been.
Amelia's living in abject poverty, sir, but she wants nothing from you, sir, for herself.
Then why have you come a-begging?
She is willing to accept help for George's child.
Child? There was a child, Dobbin?
A boy, sir. He bears George's name. And yours.
A boy. A grandson. Young Georgie Osborne. That puts a little different light on things, Major.
I thought it would, sir. Now, if you'd make Amelia a small allowance...
No, Dobbin, no. I ain't having any grandson of mine brought up by them pauper Sedleys. You tell the child's mother that if she'll turn the boy over to me, renounce all claim to him, I'll bring him up like a gentleman.
Mr. Osborne, you don't know what you're saying. Even you couldn't propose separating a mother from her child.
Those are my terms, Dobbin. She gives me the boy or she don't get a penny.
Amelia will never agree to that, sir.
She can take it or leave it. I hold the money bags, I make the terms. Who says money ain't power, Dobbin?
That was what he said, Amelia. But I told him you'd never agree to give Georgie up.
But I think I can agree, William.
Amelia?
Since that last time when Georgie was sick and I wasn't able to buy even the medicine he needed. Yes, William. I know now I can do anything that's for his good.
Amelia, my dear, I know I have no right, but if you would let me help you, I'm being sent to India. You and Georgie could come.
No, William, no. Don't you know that George is as much alive for me today as he was when he took me in his arms at Brussels and said goodbye?
I see. Then you mean you will give the boy up?
I think George would want me to. He'd want his son to be a gentleman.
But think of yourself, Amelia, your happiness.
There is none for me, William. There never can be.
That's not true, Amelia.
All the happiness went out of the world for me when George rode off to Waterloo.
Amelia.
Can't you understand how it's possible through a whole lifetime to love but one person?
Yes, Amelia, I understand. Perhaps better than you know.
And now, dear listener, let us turn our eyes away from Amelia's sad parting with her child and journey across London to a smart little house on Curzon Street, Mayfair, where we will look in upon another mother and child.
Now see what you've done, you little brat. You've torn the lace on my new gown. There, Becky. Get down. Take him away, nurse. My nerves won't stand it. Take him away.
Becky, I wish you'd try to be fonder of the little fellow.
I'm afraid I'm not fond of any man, Rawdon, until he's 20 years old or better.
Well, I'll be getting along to the club, my dear. Mustn't keep old Blinker waiting.
Rawdon, dear, I wish you could realize that gambling is good to help your income, but not an income in itself.
Yes, I know. I should never have resigned my commission.
But we had the money from the horses, and we felt sure that any minute your Aunt Matilda would die.
And then the old shrew does pop off and leaves our money to Brother Pitt when he's already married himself a fortune.
Money begets money. Your aunt was really an awful snob, in spite of her Republican pretensions. How she did dote on Pitt's wife, the Lady Jane Sheepshanks.
Curse my whole blasted family. Even my own father dies and leaves me not a cent.
There was precious little to leave after his last housekeeper got through with him. Besides, you had yours when you came of age. As if any man ever came of age.
You laugh. but I am afraid to stick my nose out of doors for fear of being gunned. Becky, somehow our luck has got to change.
Poor boy. Don't worry. I'll change our luck. Give me a kiss now and run along to your club.
Will you be lonely, Becky?
Of course not.
That's what I was afraid of. You're having company?
Yes, I expect a visitor.
Becky, I don't like to mention it, but he's here so often. Won't people talk?
If you're afraid for me, dear Gordon, why don't you get me a sheepdog for protection? How good of you to come, Lord Stane. Forgive me for keeping you waiting. I was in the kitchen making a pudding.
Little liar. When were you ever in the kitchen? I heard you in the room overhead, where no doubt you were improving on nature with a little paint.
Is it a crime to try to look my best when you come, my lord?
I'm immensely flattered. I only wish you'd give some of your rouge to Milady Stane. Her complexion's quite preposterous.
I've never met your wife, you know.
No.
I should like to.
You're bent on getting on in society, aren't you?
Is it so wrong to want a small place in the world?
All you women are alike. Everybody's striving for what's not worth having. You'll give me no rest until you have an invitation to my wife's at home. And yet you'll be as bored with her as I am.
Oh, no.
My wife's as gay as Lady Macbeth. My daughter's as cheerful as Regan and Goneril.
You can't put me off. Do I get the invitation?
I shall see what I can do. But I warn you, Becky, it's not half so nice at my house as here.
This is a cozy little house. It's too bad we shall have to move.
Move?
Our rent's 6 months overdue. They're threatening to put us out.
How much do you owe?
Only £200.
£200?
It's quite a lot. But still, it is such a cozy little house.
I'll have my brokers send a check tomorrow.
Oh, thank you, my lord. You're so kind. Just like a father.
I'm afraid I don't feel at all like a father.
Ron is beginning to worry about the conventions. He talked tonight of buying me a sheepdog.
A sheepdog?
Yes. But don't worry. I'll see that the dog is trained not to bite you.
Even if a woman does not lead a virtuous life, she likes to enjoy a reputation for virtue. And no lady in the genteel world can enjoy this reputation until she has gone through a certain ritual. Just as dubious goods or letters are passed through an oven at quarantine, sprinkled with aromatic vinegar, and then pronounced clean, so many a lady whose reputation would be doubtful and liable to give infection passes through this ceremony and issues from it free from taint. Yes. Well, it was to gain admission to this mystic rite that our Becky now bent all her energy and talents.
I must say, Becky, I don't look forward to this weekend. Visiting with Brother Pitt is about as jolly as visiting a mausoleum.
I know. There's nothing like an income invested at 3% to make one dull. But how I envy the 3%ers.
Why must you drag us to Queen's Crawley? These horses there and back will cost us £5 at least.
The visit will be worth more than £5. You'll see. Your brother and his egg-faced wife can do us good. How do I look, Rawdon?
Eh? You look very odd, by Jove. Your hair pulled down so sleek. Upon my word, you look quite domestic.
Good. I mean to. I shall trail the odor of the nursery about with me all weekend. Milk and talc powder, you know. Lady Jane will love me.
What about Brother Pitt?
Don't worry. I've brought along some Paris scent to use on him. What I'd like best of all, Lady Jane, is to visit the nursery and peep at our dear little children. You won't mind, will you, Lady Jane, if I bring out my knitting? I'm making my little boy a cap and sweater. I was saying to Rawdon today, Sir Pitt, how fortunate that you inherited Aunt Matilda's money. You'll make so much better use of it than he. Your pamphlet on Maud? But of course I remember it, Sir Pitt.
Am I glad that weekend is over?
I quite enjoyed myself, and it's been most profitable.
Profitable? I suppose so. Brother Pitt lent me £20.
£20? What's £20? Did you think I went for that?
What did you go for, Becky?
To charm your brother and his wife into getting me presented at court?
Presented at court? Ye gods, Becky, how can we afford it? We haven't a shilling's worth of credit. You'll need a court dress, jewels.
I shall manage that, too.
So you're going to be presented at court, eh?
Yes, Lord Stane.
What an ambition. I dined with the king yesterday, and we had neck of mutton and turnips.
Don't try to shatter my illusion. All my life I've dreamed of this moment. Even as a schoolgirl, I would imagine myself gliding up to the royal presence, then turning, and with a glance, crushing all my enemies.
Your triumph, Becky. How much is it going to cost me?
At last, the great day arrives. But how can we describe Becky's stately entrance into the throne room? Words fail us. Our dazzled eyes close before the scene.
Knight of the Tape and Sealing Wax Office, Lady Jane Crawley, Captain Rawdon Crawley of the Life Guards Green, Mrs. Rawdon Crawley.
Yes, dear listener, there upon the throne he sits, surrounded by beefeaters. The king, florid of face, portly of person, covered with orders, and wearing a rich curling head of hair. The king. Others have seen Napoleon. Some few have beheld Frederick the Great, Dr. Johnson, Marie Antoinette. But let it be our Becky's reasonable boast that her hand has touched that of George the Good, the Magnificent, the Great. No matter what else is in store for her, fate cannot deprive her of that.
Oh, my dear, dear Rawdon. I was never so happy. To think he has touched my hand. I shall never wash it again. Oh, there's Lord Tapeworm, Rawdon. Lord of the Powder Closet. How do you do, Lord Tapeworm?
Come, Becky, our carriage is waiting. I'll put you in, then if you don't mind, I'll walk along home.
Walk home? Why?
I need some air.
No, there's something on your mind. I know it. I can always tell when you're trying to think. You look so strange.
It's nothing, Becky, nothing.
I know there is. All evening you seem so strange.
Becky, tell me, where did you get those jewels?
Jewels? You mean these little diamonds? Why, they belong to my mother. She was a Montmorency, you know.
Your mother was a French dancing girl, and you know I know it. But never mind the jewels. You'll have to pawn them tomorrow anyway.
Rawdon, what do you mean?
I am at the end of my row, Becky. My luck's run out. They're after me like hounds, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. I don't know where to turn.
Rawdon, how could you be so mean? Spoiling my night of all nights. Well, I won't let you, I tell you. Whatever I've done with the gate tradesmen, the cooks and wheedles, I've been presented at court, haven't I?
Yes, little Becky. You've had your wish. Here's the coach. Coachman.
Aye, sir.
Take Mrs. Crawley home. And you'd better hurry, Becky, before your coach turns into a pumpkin. All right, in you go.
Get up. Get up there.
Captain Crawley. Captain Crawley, sir.
Yes, what is it? Oh, no, you don't. Let go my arm.
Easy does it, Captain Crawley, sir. No use bolting. I have a writ for your arrest.
Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray, one of the world's great novels, brought to you each week by the NBC University of the Air. Listen next week to the concluding episode from Vanity Fair, and remember that this and many other fine books are to be had in your local public library. To enhance your enjoyment of these broadcasts, NBC offers you Herbert Gorman's Handbook of the World's Great Novels. Just send 25 cents with your request to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. Vanity Fair is adapted for radio by Frank and Virginia Wells. The music was composed by Morris Pomorsky, and the orchestra was directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Becky Sharp is played by Nanette Sargent, Amelia by Geraldine Kay, Rawdon by Boris Applin, Old Osborne by Arthur Sedgwick, Major Dobbin by Everett Clark, Lord Stain by Maurice D. Copeland, Thackeray by Sherman Marks, and Joseph by Arthur Peterson. Others were Rita Ascott, Nathan Davis, Cliff Norton, and Tom Post. This is David Garraway. The program came to you from Chicago. The time to think about your future is now, and think of it in terms of United States savings bonds. U.S. savings bonds are a long-term investment that'll make a home of your own and a college education for the children a reality someday. Protect your future. Buy your extra U.S. savings bonds today and keep on buying them. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company. The World's Great Novels. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. The NBC University of the Air brings you the last installment of William Thackeray's great social satire, Vanity Fair, another in its series of books that live, the world's great novels.
Last week, dear listener, we saw how, finally, all of Becky Sharp's wit and beauty, her lies and scheming, selfishness and wiles, have brought her to the pinnacle of success. She has been presented at court. But even as Becky's carriage is bearing her homeward from the royal palace, her husband, Rawdon Crawley, is being seized by the bailiff.
Let me go. Easy does it, Captain Crawley, sir. I have a writ for your arrest.
Arrest? What for?
166, 6 and 8 pence. At the suit of Mr. Forrester, sir.
See here, bailiff. Be a good fellow. Let me off. I'll see that old Forrester gets his money tomorrow. I swear it.
Sorry, sir, but it can't be done.
But it's preposterous. I've just come from the palace. Here's my sword. I've even got on my pumps.
Sorry, sir. There's many a fine gentleman's been in your shoes. Or pumps, I might say. You may have just come from the palace, Captain. But it's to jail you're going.
Bailiff! Bailiff!
I'm coming, Captain, I'm coming. Easy does it.
Bailiff, have any answers come to the messages I sent?
I was just bringing you 2 letters, sir. This one's a beautiful letter, sir. Pink paper, green seal. It smells good, too.
Give it to me, bailiff.
Here you are, sir. Will you be leaving us, sir?
She says she hasn't any money and doesn't know where to get any. She says her jewels aren't worth pawning. They bring nothing. It's a lie. She could get plenty for them. Many's the time I've pawned my watch to buy her a trinket she wanted. Blast her.
That's the way of women, sir. But don't take it so hard, Captain, sir. Read your other letter. Maybe that's good news. Well, sir?
You can unlock the door, bailiff. My brother sent the money to pay me out.
I knew you could count on a baronet to behave like a gentleman, sir.
Hanged if I'd care whether I go or stay now. Who'd have thought Becky would...
Don't take it so hard, Captain, about your wife. I'll tell you what, sir. Women is all alike. Even the best of them is bad.
Who did you expect?
Oh, sir.
Is Mrs. Crawley at home?
Oh, yes, sir. I mean, no, sir.
What do you mean?
Oh,
out of my way, girl, and let me pass.
Oh, please come back, sir. Wait, do.
Becky? Becky! She must be out. Now, see. Becky!
Gordon.
Crawley, the devil take you.
You dog! You filthy swine! Get out! Get out!
I'm innocent, Gordon. Before heaven, I am innocent.
You lie!
But I am. Tell him I am innocent, Lord Stane.
Innocent? You? Ha! This is a trap you and your bully of a husband have laid. You mean to blackmail me?
Oh, no, my lord, no. It is no trap. Tell him I am innocent. Rawdon, listen to him, I beseech you.
Innocent? Why, every trinket you have on your body I've paid for. I've given you thousands of pounds, which this fellow has spent, and for which he's sold you.
That's a lie. You blackguard. I'll kill you for that.
Oh, no, you won't, Crawley. You can't frighten me. Out of my way, sir, and let me pass.
You'll answer for this. You'll answer for it. All your titles won't protect you now.
I'm innocent, Rawdon. You believe me, don't you? I swear it was for your sake.
You lie. Give me your keys.
Oh, no.
Give them to me. I mean to see if he lied about giving you money. Has he given you any?
No. That is...
Give me the keys, Becky. Give them to me or I shall pry open your desk.
Here they are.
£1,000 note. Did he give you this?
Rawdon, you don't
So
understand.
all the time I was in jail, you had £1,000 tucked away. You wouldn't even spare me a couple of hundred. I always shared with you, Becky. You wanted me to rot there. That's what you wanted.
Oh, no, Rawdon, no. I love you. I've always loved
Let
you.
go of me. You're too late, Becky. It's all over now.
Rawdon, what do you mean? Rawdon, come back. Where are you going?
To kill Lord Stane.
Church bells. Sunday morning. Rawdon's gone. He'll never come back. I'm all alone now. But I'm not bad. I'm not. I could have been a good woman if I'd had £5,000 a year.
Meanwhile, Rawdon Crawley, still dressed in his court suit, still carrying his sword, is waking up his friend, Captain McMurdo, at Knightsbridge Barracks.
McMurdo! Wake up! Wake up, I say!
Oh, my head.
McMurdo!
Oh, it's you, Crawley. Congratulations, Crawley.
Congratulations?
Uh-huh.
Jove, I'm in trouble. I need a second.
A second? What's the row about?
It's about my wife.
Oh. No way out of it?
No.
Who is it?
Lord Stane.
Lord Stane? The deuce it is. But I say, Rawdon, you can't kill him.
And why not?
Haven't you seen the papers?
What papers?
You've been appointed the governor of Coventry Island.
I've been appointed new governor?
Absolutely. And the paper says it's through old Stane's influence you got it.
The governorship of Coventry? His Excellency Governor Rawdon Crawley. No, you're right. I can't kill old Stane now.
You'll accept the post?
What else? I'm at the end of my rope.
Your little boy, what about him?
I'll give him to my brother Pitt. His mother hates him.
What about her?
She can go to the devil in her own way.
But I say, old man, doesn't this appointment put a new light on things? Suppose she's not guilty.
Suppose she was only using old Stane to help you out.
There's still that £1,000 note. If she were your wife, what would you think?
As for our Becky, we shall soon know more of her fate. Meanwhile, let us look in upon some old friends of ours. 8 years have passed since we last saw them. Major Dobbin has just returned from India, a little more yellow of skin, but in his heart unchanged.
Beautiful, Amelia. Beautiful.
Thank you, Major Dobbin.
You know, all the while I was in India, I used to dream of this. Sitting here, listening to you play upon the little piano I'd given you.
That you had given me, William. George gave it to me. Or rather, he bought it back for me at the auction sale of our things. It was George, wasn't it?
No, Amelia. It was I.
You.
Why go on lying? A little time is left to us. I bought it for you because I loved you then as I love you now.
Oh, no, William, no, you mustn't.
I tried to tell you this before I left for India, but you would not listen.
I am his now as I was when you first saw me.
Amelia, is there no hope at all for me?
You'll always be my friend.
Friend?
Oh, William, I beg you to be George's, too. It's been 8 years since I gave him up. Sometimes I walk by Mr. Osborne's house to catch a glimpse of him. Georgie doesn't even know me.
Amelia, dearest, you can't go on like this. It's killing you. You're a wraith.
I can bear it.
But I won't let you. I won't let you bear it. You're killing Amelia Sedley, Mr. Osborne, as much as if you'd stuck a knife in her.
You ain't my conscience, Major Dobbin. Tain't up to you to tell me what to do.
God will hold you responsible for it.
Get out of my house, Dobbin. I won't listen to you.
You will listen. You ruined your son's life. You spoiled him rotten. Then cast him off without a penny. You broke his heart. And now you're killing his wife. You'll be meeting George soon. What are you going to say to him? What are you going to say?
Dobbin, stop it. I'm a sick old man.
You're a dying man, and you know it. Are you ready to die, Mr. Osborne?
Damn me, Dobbin. Damn me. Send for her. You did me wrong, Amelia Sedley. You married my son without a dowry. But I forgive you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'm leaving little Georgie all I've got. It's a great fortune. Georgie's a clever lad. He'll double it by the time he's 40.
Tell her about the boy's guardianship, Mr. Osborne.
Yes, I'm giving the boy back to you, Amelia.
Oh, you're good, sir.
Yes, but don't raise him in no poor mouse way. Make a gentleman of him. Send him to Eton. Let him get flogged. Let him learn Latin.
I will.
Maybe he'll be a baronet one day. I read where a brewer was made a baronet. Why not a stockbroker? Sir George Osborne, baronet. My grandson.
William, he's fallen asleep.
He's dead, Amelia. And after this, the king and the pawn go into the same box.
Well, we promised to tell you something of our Becky's fate, dear listener, but alas, we must do you a grave injustice. We must pass lightly, delicately, over certain parts of her career. Genteel society allows us to tell you only that after Becky left the little house on Curzon Street, she became a vagabond upon the earth. In the year 1829, in the gay little German duchy of Pumpernickel, a woman with light hair, wearing a low dress, by no means fresh, sits at a roulette table. Her face is hidden behind a mask.
20 black. The winner, 20 black.
Oh, I lost again.
Yes, madam.
Will you do me a little favor?
Charms, madam, charms.
It is fine. It is all I have in the world. Play it for me and cherish my love.
I'd be happy to, madam, but if madam would allow me, I could lend her.
Oh, never, monsieur. Well, only a florin or two.
Madam, your voice. There's something about it. Oh, upon my word, I could swear I'd heard it before.
There is something about monsieur, too. As soon as you came in, I thought, where have I seen that gentleman before? So distingué.
My name is Sedley, ma'am. Joseph Sedley.
Joseph Sedley. How little you have changed. How gracefully you bear the years.
Madam, that voice, I know you.
Lift the mask, monsieur.
Becky Sharp.
Oh, Joseph, this is lovely. To think of meeting you here after so many years. How many years has it been since Waterloo?
Oh, nearly 15, madam, since we Britons put the Corsican to rout.
Oh, I should have known you anywhere.
Do you know, Mr. Joseph, you were the first man I ever saw.
My dear madam.
I was just a girl, really. Amelia brought me down from school. How is she?
Dear Amelia.
She's well.
Oh, her husband was a sad, wicked man. And yet it was I she was jealous of. As if I cared a fig for George Osborne.
You may have heard that George's father popped off and left the whole fortune to little Georgie. Amelia's the boy's guardian.
Then Amelia's rich?
Oh, Joseph, I should so love to see her.
And you shall. Amelia's here with me.
Amelia? Here in Pumpernickel?
Amelia, little Georgie, and Major Dobbin. We're making a tour of the continent, putting the finishing touches on Georgie's education.
Amelia, did she marry the Major?
Marry? Indeed, no, madam. My sister still burns candles at her dead husband's shrine.
Beautiful, Joseph. Beautiful. If there's any quality I prize in a woman, it is faithfulness.
No, Joseph. No, I won't see her. Don't let her come here, William.
Of course not, Amelia.
But she's poor, unprotected, I tell you. You wouldn't know her, Amelia. She's aged so.
Oh, really?
But still attractive as ever.
Oh. No, Joseph, I won't see her.
She hasn't a friend in the world. She said you were the only friend she ever had.
Poor creature.
Amelia?
The agonies that poor woman has undergone. Why, she had a little boy the same age as Georgie, you know.
A child.
And for 10 years that brute of a husband has not allowed her to see him.
10 years? Oh, Joseph, I can't bear
The most beautiful child you ever saw.
Oh.
The ruffians tore him screaming from her arms.
Joseph, let us go to her this minute.
No, Amelia, no. That woman's never brought you anything but harm.
A perfect little angel the child was.
Oh.
And all she has of him is a lock of hair.
Don't listen to him, Amelia.
William, don't try to stop me. I will go. I will fly to that poor creature at once.
My agonies were terrible, Amelia. When they took my baby from me, I thought I should die.
You poor, poor dear.
The doctors gave me up. But I recovered. And here I am in Pumpernickel. Poor and friendless. Excuse me, Amelia. Let me see who's at the door.
Certainly,
Yes. No, go away now, Fritzy. I have a visitor. Shh. It's an old aunt of mine. There. Come back later. As I was saying, Amelia, they took my baby from me.
How old would the boy be now, Becky?
How old? The same age as your Georgie.
Oh, Georgie is 12.
That's exactly the age of my son.
Oh, do show me a lock of his hair.
His hair? Oh, not today, my love. I don't feel equal to it. It hurts me so.
Dear Becky.
Amelia, if you knew what it meant to me to have you come. I've been so alone.
You shall never be alone again, dear Becky.
Just a minute. I'm coming. Becky. Go away, Fritzy. Go away, I tell you. And don't come back. I'm moving up in the world.
In heaven's name, Amelia, what is that noise?
It's Becky's trunk, William.
No. You can't have that woman stay with you.
Oh, but I can.
Indeed we can, Dobbin.
It's an outrage, preposterous.
Now, don't be cold-hearted, William.
Have you forgotten Brussels?
For shame. To allude to that. Why, I had it from George's own lips how groundless my jealousy was. He was pure, William, pure. And you, his friend, insult his memory.
Amelia, stop raving and listen to me.
You don't deserve to be heard.
Bravo!
You will hear me, Amelia. For 15 years I have wasted my life loving you. Yes, wasted it. What I set my heart on was not worth the winning. There's no passion in you, Amelia. There's only a feeble spark that you waste upon a memory, a ghost.
William.
This is goodbye, Amelia, forever. I am worn thin with waiting. Let it end. Let it end.
Becky! Hi-ho, Amelia.
Becky, I must speak to you. Come outside.
All right, Amelia. I'll come. What do you want, Amelia?
Becky, you must get those people out of this house. Night after night, you turn this place into a tavern. I'm a widow with a child, alone in the world, no man to protect.
Where's your fat brother? Or ain't he a man?
He's upstairs in a drunken stupor, and you and your friends got him drunk. You're dragging him down with you, Becky. You've tricked him into putting his life insurance into your name, and now you're trying to kill him with drink.
So I'm a murderer, am I? I'm not good enough for the widow Osborne and a fat brother. Pah! You know what's the matter with you, Amelia? You're jealous, that's what. You always were.
I jealous of you?
Jealous because you can't keep a man. Your mule-faced major's gone off and left you. Just as George left you.
Rebecca, take that back.
No. No, I'm wrong, Amelia. George never left you. You never had him. The week after you were married, he made love to me. To me!
Rebecca, are you speaking the truth?
If I die for it tomorrow.
No, you're lying. It's false. It's false.
Oh, it's false, is it? Then take a look at this. Here. Here it is under my belt. I've carried it for years.
Why, that's George's handwriting.
It's the note he wrote me the night before Waterloo.
Oh, no.
The note he wrote asking me to go away with him.
No.
The note he gave me under your nose. Read it, Amelia.
No. No.
Read it, I tell you.
No, I can't. I can't bear it. Oh, William. William, where are you? I need you so now.
Joseph. Joseph, wake up. Wake up, Joseph. Amelia's gone.
Amelia gone?
Bags and baggage. To her precious major. We're all alone now, Joseph.
Don't you go, Becky.
I won't go, Joseph. Here. I've brought you something hot to drink. Raise your head.
No, Becky, no, I don't want it. My head's bursting.
It'll make you feel better. Raise your head up. Here. There. There now. Drink.
Oh, it's better, Becky. What's in that cup?
Milk. Hot milk. It'll do you good. Drink now.
Yes, Becky.
Good boy.
I'm old and I'm sick. You won't leave me, will you, Becky?
No, Joseph.
It's not my money. You care for me, don't you, Becky? Remember the old days?
I remember.
I wasn't so fat then, was I, Becky?
No, Joseph. You had a beautiful figure. Drink your milk, Joseph.
It's bitter, Becky.
Never mind. Drink it all up.
Don't leave me, Becky.
No, Joseph. I won't leave you. I'll stay with you to the end.
It is a sunny day at Brighton, gentle listener, some years after the mysterious death of Joseph Sedley. A tall, thin gentleman carrying a little girl strolls along the esplanade. With him are a greying lady and a dandified boy in an Eton cap. A trim young nursemaid passes by, and the boy, a true son of his father.
Georgie, you must speak to him, William.
But, Mother, she winked at me.
Look at the scenery, Georgie.
Oh, all right. I say, Mother, look at that woman in the window of the milliner's shop.
Georgie.
Oh, I'm not flirting with her, Mother. She's an old fright.
Why, William, look at her. That woman is Becky.
Amelia, I have forbidden you to speak that name. I am your husband now. I have the right to forbid you. That woman murdered your brother.
Oh, William, we never knew for sure. Besides, you owe her something. If she'd not told me the truth about George, I'd never have married you.
That's beside the point. A more worthless, vain, immoral woman never existed on the face of the earth.
And yet there was something about Becky.
Amelia, I forbid you to speak that name again.
Oh.
Come now. I want to show little Janie the ocean. Little angel, come with Papa and see the big blue sea.
William?
Yes, my dear.
Sometimes I think you care more for our little Janie than you do for me.
Amelia.
Yes. I care even more for that horrid history of the Punjabi you're writing than you do for me.
Amelia, must you?
Very well. I won't complain. Why should I? Who in this world is rarely happy?
Ah, vanity of vanities. Which of us is happy in this world? Which of us has his desire, or having it, is satisfied? Come, children, let us shut up the box and the puppets. Our play is ended.
Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray is one of the world's great novels, brought to you each week by the NBC University of the Air. Listen next week to the story of Sinbad the Sailor from the Arabian Nights. And don't forget that your local public library has thousands of fine books available for your pleasure. To enhance your enjoyment of these programs, NBC offers you Herbert Gorman's Handbook of the World's Great Novels. Just send 25 cents with your request to World's Great Novels, Post Office Box 30, Station J, New York 27, New York. Vanity Fair was adapted for radio by Frank and Virginia Wells. The music was composed by Morris Pomorsky and the orchestra directed by Bernard Berquist. The entire production was under the direction of Homer Heck. Becky Sharp is played by Nanette Sargent, Amelia by Geraldine Kay, Rod and Crawley by Boris Applin, Major Dobbin by Everett Clark, Lord Stain by Maurice D. Copeland, Joseph Sedley by Arthur Peterson, Captain McMurdo by Donald Gallagher, Thackeray by Sherman Marks, The Bailiff by Cliff Norton, Old Osborne by Arthur Sedgwick, and Young George by Arthur Young. This is David Garraway speaking. The program came to you from Chicago. This is NBC, the national broadcast.